Motion of charged particle in a constant uniform magnetic field. A charged particle experiences a force when moving through a magnetic field. What happens if this field is uniform over the motion of the charged particle, and what path does the particle follow? We discuss here the circular motion of the charged particle as well as other motion that results from a charged particle entering a magnetic field. It is the scenario of this article. Motion of charged particle in constant uniform magnetic field. If this magnetic field is in a vacuum, then the magnetic field is the dominant factor determining the motion of the charged particle. Where the magnetic field is situated, depending upon that, the motion of the particle depends. Since the magnetic force is perpendicular to the direction of travel, a charged particle follows a curved path in a magnetic field. Magnetic force, the situation of the magnetic force is perpendicular to the direction of the travel. Hence, the charged particle follows the curved path in magnetic field. The particle continues to follow this curved path until it forms a complete circle. The particle's kinetic energy and the speed thus remains constant because the particle performing the motion and following the trajectory as a circular trajectory, kinetic energy and its speed both remain constant. And the direction of motion is affected but not the speed. The negatively charged particle moves in the plane of the paper in a region where magnetic field is perpendicular to the paper. Since there is a circular motion, this v vector, velocity vector, is shown here. When the particle is in this position, velocity vector is in this direction. When it moves further, it is its direction. Again further, it is this direction. Again this upwards. Again it moves in the upward direction, and so on. It can complete this circle. And the forces directed inside the circle. And this B bar, that is the magnetic field, is perpendicular to the plane of the paper, and particle moves in the plane of the paper. Hence it is. Here, this velocity vector starts from here, that is tangential to this circular path, and therefore the change is delta V. It is paper, plane of the paper, magnetic field, and it is exactly the experimental situation regarding the motion of charged particle in case of constant uniform magnetic field. When the particle is performing the motion in this situation, the magnetic force supplies is the centripetal force. Generally it is denoted by Fc equal to mv square by 2. Velocity is perpendicular to the magnetic field, and the magnetic magnitude of magnetic force is reduced to qv into b. That is, magnetic force actually, when the particle is in motion, is the product of its charge, its velocity, and the applied magnetic field. Hence this F bar is equal to qv bar b bar. Therefore, qvb equal to mv square upon r. Since in these two equations, when we see these two equations, it is centripetal force equal to mv square upon r, and this magnitude of the magnetic force equal to qvb. Both forces are equal. Since LHS are equal, we can equate their RHS. It will take the form qvb equal to mv square upon r, and therefore this v and this v both same. To the RHS it is square, to the LHS it is single. One v cancels one another. Hence simply r equal to mv upon qb. This r equal to mass velocity divided by charge times magnetic field. It is the important equation in this particular derivation. That is r equal to mv upon qb. Actual, with the help of the previous diagram and the overall discussion, the particle is performing the circular motion. Actually, it is shown here. The charged particle moving with a velocity not in the same direction as in the magnetic field, but the velocity component perpendicular to the magnetic field creates a circular motion. The component of velocity parallel to the field moves the particle along a straight line. It is ordinary x, y and z axis. These three axes x, y, z are intersecting at the origin O. Magnetic field B bar, uniform, constant, uniform magnetic field B bar is applied along x axis. The velocity vector is along y axis and so on. Initially, at time t is equal to 0, 0, the charged particle Q enters into the magnetic field at time t is equal to 0 with x equal to y equal to 0. As time advances, then it will proceed or performing the motion. It starts from this end. At that time, v bar is the velocity vector, it is force vector and it is magnetic field vector, as we have see their interrelation in the previous equation. Therefore, it is v bar perpendicular component. Where the particle is in this situation, the velocity vector is perpendicular. When particle is in this situation, it is parallel. Again, it is parallel. In this situation, we are able to see how the charged particle performing the motion in presence of constant magnetic field. Then, we have to calculate the intensity of field is same at all points for uniform magnetic field. The specific charge of a particle is the ratio of its charge Q to its mass m. It is equal to Q upon m. This Q upon m ratio entering a constant uniform magnetic field B along negative z direction. And that Q by m is called as specific charge of that particle. Since Q is its charge, m is mass, its resultant ratio is specific charge. We have to calculate this V bar cross B bar. That is determinant. First of the determinant will be the unit vectors of the three velocity components. Since this particle is performing the motion along three respective directions, then I cap is the unit vector along x direction, j cap is the unit vector along y direction and k cap is the unit vector along z direction. I, j, k is the first row of the determinant. Second row will be the velocity component. Vx is the velocity component along x direction, Vy is the velocity vector component along y direction, but its z direction is its component is 0. Third row of the determinant is magnetic field. Component of magnetic field vector along x direction is 0, along y direction is 0, and since it is applied to the negative z direction, its component along the third direction is minus b. And therefore, V bar cross B bar will be equal to determinant Ijk Vx Vy 0, 0, 0 minus B. Now it is equal to, as usual, we can, in usual manner, we can simplify this determinant. I cap times minus Vyb minus j cap times minus Vxb. It is equal to I cap dVx by dt plus j cap dVy by dt is equal to qb upon m times minus I cap Vy plus j cap Vx. Now in this expression, again I, j, k are the respective unit vectors of x, y, z axis respectively. Vx is the velocity vector component along x direction, Vy is its component along y direction. Since 1 and q by m is the specific charge and v is the applied magnetic field to that charged particle along negative z direction. That is the time derivative of x component of the velocity vector is equal to minus omega Vy. And time derivative of velocity vector component Vy equal to plus omega Vx. After treating x and y components separately or comparing these two, we have able to have these two equations dvx by dt and dvy by dt. In both the equations, omega equal to qb upon m, where q by m is a specific charge, b is a magnetic field, and that product q by m and t, the product is omega. That is cyclotron frequency. d by dt of vx plus I Vy equal to minus omega Vy dot plus I omega Vx. Here I omega, if we take from RHS, I omega is common, then bracket will be Vx plus I Vy. To the LHS, this Vx plus Ivy equal to V. Therefore, dV by dt is equal to I omega times V. Since Vx plus Ivy is equal to V and it is Vx plus Ivy is equal to I omega, by comparing these two, we have able to have d by dt of velocity is equal to I omega V. If we observe this equation, it is single order or first order differential equation in V. Now we use the variable separable form here for the simplification. With respect to this, we are rewriting this equation as dv upon v and I omega dt. Once this form will take, we integrate this equation as dv upon v from integration limits from v0 to v, because the initial velocity of the charged particle when it enters into the magnetic field, the initial velocity was v0 and final velocity v. Hence the integration limits are v0 to v, dv upon v is the LHS, is equal to integration from 0 to t I omega dt. How it is? When initial speed is v0, at that time t is equal to 0, and when final time t is equal to t, the velocity v0 equal to v, and therefore it is equal to integration from 0 to t I omega dt. As you know well, the simplification of this LHS will be equal to log of v upon v0, and it is I omega t, because integration 0 to t dt is equal to t. This I omega is independent of integral sign, hence it will take the form log of v upon v0 equal to I omega t. For LHS, we have used here integration of dx upon x is equal to x. It is the equation, and therefore v equal to integration of dx upon x is equal to log x. On the same line, it is integration of dv upon v equal to log of v upon v0 equal to I omega t. In further simplification, I have to simplify this equation for velocity v, and therefore this v equal to v0 e raised to I omega t. It is the simplified form, velocity v equal to v0 times e raised to I omega t. But by referring these above equations, this v will be equal to vx plus ivy is equal to v0 and remaining multiplied e raised to I omega t. According to the expansion formula, this e raised to I omega t is given by cos omega t plus I sin omega t, and therefore using this expansion form and this equation, the resultant equation will be vx plus ivy is equal to v0 times cos omega t plus I sin omega t. If we observe this equation carefully, LHS consists of real and imaginary part, as well as in its RHS also there is one term is real and another is imaginary. Now we have to compare here the real and imaginary parts of the equations on both sides. When Vx is equal, when we compare the real parts, the equation will be Vx equal to V0 cos omega t, and when we compare the imaginary parts, the equation will be Vy equal to V0 sin omega t. Means the x component of velocity vector equal to this, having this value V0 cos omega t. Y component of velocity vector is having value V0 sin omega t, and the z component is obviously 0, as we see in the starting of the article. Now I am squaring and adding these two equations, Vx square plus Vy square equal to V0 square common cos square omega t plus sin square omega t. Since sin square omega t plus cos square omega t is equal to 1, as you know well, and this v square equal to simply vx square plus vy square. Therefore, taking square root, this v equal to square root of vx square plus vy square is equal to square root of v0 square, and that is always equal to constant. Since vx equal to time derivative of x dx by dt equal to v0 cos omega t, here again integration from 0 to x dx is equal to integration from 0 to t v0 cos omega t dt. Integration of dx is equal to x within limit 0 to x, hence simplification of this LHS will be directly equal to x. Therefore, x equal to v naught upon cos omega t, cos omega sin omega t. This again v naught upon omega is replaced by r, and therefore directly this x is equal to r sin omega t. Now what is this x? The distance traveled by the charged particle in along x direction in time t, it will be equal to r sin omega t. It is the value of x, where as I explained already, r equal to v naught upon omega. And similarly, y equal to v naught upon omega minus v naught upon omega into cos omega t. Since it is r, therefore it will take the form y equal to r minus r cos omega t. It is equal to x square plus y minus r bracket square is equal to r square. Since the geometrical equation for circle is x square plus y square equal to r square, on the similar way, this equation is here x square plus y minus r bracket square equal to r square. It is exactly similar to the equation of circle. Hence, the trajectory followed by the charged particle in case of constant uniform magnetic field is a circle or circular path, circular trajectory. This equation represents the trajectory of the particle. It is a circle with radius r and center 0 r. Hence, the charged particle moves in a circular path of radius r with a constant angular velocity omega, where omega equal to v upon r equal to qb by m. This omega is called as cyclotron frequency. Means the exact interpretation of this article regarding motion of charged particle in case of constant uniform magnetic field is a circle or circular form with a circle having the cyclotron frequency as omega equal to qb upon m. That cyclotron frequency omega is equal to specific charge of the charged particle times the magnetic field B or magnitude of the magnetic field B. Therefore, omega is the product of, omega is the cyclotron frequency. It is calculated by the formula. It is the product of specific charge of that charged particle into the magnitude of the magnetic field. And therefore, qb by m is equal to omega.